Skills are a really cool way in Claude to be able to give it insight into things that you're doing often and to use that insight to be much stronger. So, as an example, if I'm a marketer that's constantly creating performance ads, I want to give Claude the brain of the very best performance marketers. And that brain can be added as a skill, which is essentially a write up on the instructions to take when you're looking to create more performance ads. And that brain is stored as what's called the MD file, which is a markdown file, a text file within a folder that you specify. What's really cool is you can have Cowork create these skills for you. So you can have it create it for you and then save it, and then it's always there for you to use. So let's just do an example here, similar to what I just said. I'm a marketer that's constantly running performance ads on Meta and paid social in general. Create a skill that you can leverage that's based off of the insights of the very best performance marketers and their methodologies. Based on this, create that skill and add it into our folder. So we're going to let it do research on the best in-class methodologies from some of these performance marketers and then create that skill for us. And again, what it's going to be able to do is whenever I do ask for new performance ad briefing or creative ideas, it's going to pull in that skill that we're building right now so that we don't constantly have to do research. And it's actually asking us some questions. What should the skill primarily help us do? Let's just say full stack, Meta and TikTok. And let's say we will say both equally for this. So it'll ask questions typically when you're having it build skills for you. And it now says what it's going to, what I had mentioned earlier, which is going to research these methodologies, and then it's going to draft this MD file for us that we can add into our folder. So again, the beauty of this is that it's going to just call it whenever it's needed, rather than having to research the methodologies every single time we are looking to create new performance ads or anything within performance ads. So we'll give it a few minutes here. We'll come back, see what it's built, and see how the skill looks. So we've got the skill built out, and it's giving us a breakdown in what it did to create it. It looked at methodologies from top performance marketers and their thought process and best practices. We can actually even open it up in Claude so that you can see that this is the MD file. And very cool because it's going to tell you, or Claude, when it should use this skill. Use the skill whenever the user mentions Meta ads, Facebook ads, things like ROAS or CPA. So it gives it trigger words on when it'll open up this skill. Now, what we need to do though is go into settings, and within capabilities, we should have the ability to find skills. And in skills, we can now upload this skill, which is in our folder that we created, and it is here, performance marketing skill MD. So we're going to open this and upload it here. Let's just make sure it's enabled. And now we can go back, and when we chat and create a task, it actually already prompted it to create something here, but let's say create a performance marketing brief for some new Meta ads that we want to launch for my company, Nordic Wave. This can be very generic. You don't need to ask any clarifying questions. Let's just get an output. So let's do that. And I asked it specifically not to ask me any questions so that it can do this fairly fast. But you'll see here, it pulled up the performance marketing skill, which is now giving Claude all of the information and best practices from those performance marketers and these thought leaders online. And it's now going to use all of that to create this campaign. So instead of Claude doing this from scratch or doing the research every time on best practices, it now uses that skill that's been embedded in Claude. Now, where this gets really, really cool is you can stack the skills. So you can have skills on performance marketing and email marketing and a variety of different functions within marketing. And you can ask it to create you full-on campaigns for a new product launch. And now it'll have the skills from the best practices from the thought leaders and best-in-class email marketers and paid marketers. So again, very powerful way to just arm Claude with even more context and information through those skills. That's it for skills. I'm also going to be providing skills that you can use just by copying and pasting in the way that we just did through uploading the file. I believe that you can also, if you go into settings, doesn't have to be a file like we just uploaded, but that's typically how I'll do it. You can even just write it here and add the instructions so it can be a copy paste, which are going to be the prompts or really the skills that I provide as well that you can copy and paste in here. So that wraps it up for skills. Happy prompting and enjoy all of the skills that you've now built because it is very, very powerful.